live replay, and you are a winner. Now, many of the rappers in the music industry are poor, and you are probably richer. You see, the music industry is an illusion. The music industry is an illusion. You, first of all, not only is it an illusion, it's messed up in a way that a lot of rappers and a lot of artists are programmed with this image of perceived success. Now, you can have a random person that's been making music on their own, putting out their music on YouTube, putting out their music on different streaming platforms. Lots of years of work. Next thing you know, their song becomes a hit record. 3 million views on YouTube. Now they're getting paid from YouTube for that one song that they created. It's at 3 million now, but eventually over time, it's going to grow higher than 3 million views. Then here comes a record label talking about, I want to sign you to a record label. I want to sign you to a record deal. And because of the heavy programming of being a star, the heavy programming of being a part of the elite, of being a celebrity, of being famous, this person goes ahead and they sign a record deal. They're thinking they're winning, but they're not really winning. They sign a record deal. The record label is like, we'll give you $100,000 for one single, right? So they signed $100,000 record deal, and they got $100,000. But this is where they don't really have $100,000. That $100,000 that they signed a record deal for one single, is actually a loan from the record company. So it's a loan. Okay. And with the loan, you have to pay a loan back. So they sign a record deal. They got $100,000. They're thinking they up. They're thinking they winning. But it's actually $100,000 loan. Remember, this is a key point. They have to pay that $100,000 back to the record label, right? So they drop the single. The single only makes them back $5,000. So now they got to pay the record label back $100,000. But the single that they signed for only made them $5,000. So what does that mean? That means they are still $95,000 in debt to the record label. So you think their contract just ends after that? No, they got to pay that back. But even deeper, they don't only have to pay $95,000 back. They have to pay way more than that, because they have to pay from that cut of the $5,000 they made from the single. They have to pay all the producers of the beats. They have to pay all the other people to write the songs and all the other people to do all the other marketing stuff and jibber jabber, jibber jabber. You feel me? It's a whole bunch of stuff they have to pay with that $5,000. So that $5,000 goes down to zero. And they still owe the record label $100,000. So now they have to sign another contract with the same record label because they owe them $100,000, but they ain't got no money left to pay them. They probably got all kind of jewelry, all kind of cars, all kind of houses and stuff off of that $100,000 that on their first day of signing the deal. But how are they gonna pay it back? Let me take it back. They signed $100,000 record deal. $100,000 is a loan from the music industry. They signed $100,000 record deal for one single. They put out that single. The single only makes them back $5,000. They're $95,000 in debt. Then after they pay everybody that needs to be paid, the security guards, the people that's writing their songs, the people that's helping them write their songs, the producers, the people that's making the beats, the photographers, their stylists, all that stuff, the jewelry that they got to pay for that's probably on layaway, the house, the car, all of that. That $5,000 is gone. So they're still $100,000 in debt. So they got to sign to that record label again for another $100,000 advance. So now they're $200,000 in debt. Then they got to pay off the car note. They got to pay off their house. They got to pay off the jewelry. That extra $100,000 is back down to like 50,000, back down to 25,000. They put out another single. The single does worse than the first single they put out. They only make $1,000. They have like $20,000 left. They got to pay all the people, the producers. They got to pay for all the marketing that the record label gave them, and they're still in debt. You see what I'm saying? You see how this process goes? You see how the rappers that saying they have all this money, all that, and the image that they put out to your mind, to your subconscious mind through these music videos and TV shows and whatever else, they're $200,000 in debt. How are you rich when you're $200,000 in debt? It's an image. They program the minds of everyone. You think rappers are rich. It's an image. It's not real. It's an illusion. They really be losing. There are many rappers that are poor, and there are many rappers that you are richer than. And what happens with these record labels, once the artist starts getting $100,000 in debt, $200,000 in debt, they can't pay it back. Then they keep them in the contract, and they have to keep signing to that record label until they could pay that $200,000 back. And most of them never pay that $200,000 back. So they end up in a contract with a record deal or a record label for the rest of their life, and they have to do concerts. They have to travel and go on tour for the rest of their life. They can never retire because they don't have enough money to pay back they don't have enough money to pay back the record label. So they got a tour. If someone signs a record deal at 20 years old because they had a hit song when they should have stayed independent and just worked by themselves and learned how to create beats by themselves and rap over their own beats by themselves and take home all the pay by themselves. Instead, they signed to a record label at 20 years old. Now they got a tour literally until their last breath because they signed to a record deal that they can't pay back because their songs aren't getting enough streams. Their songs aren't bringing enough income in. So now they're in debt to the record label. So the record label keeps them in the contract. They have to keep taking out loans, keep going into more and more debt because the record label, that advance that they get, whether it's $1 million or 100,000 or 500,000, it's a loan, like a loan from the bank. They got to pay it back. So since they can't pay it back, they got to make music. They got to go on tour forever. So from 20 all the way up to 50 to 60 to 70, they got to keep going on tour all around the world to make that money back. And it's going to take them the rest of their life to make that money back because they're so much in debt. They done push the image of having all these cars and all this jewelry and all this material stuff, but they can't pay it back. And then they got kids and family to take care of on top of that. So they have to tour for the rest of their lives. They never retire. These rappers never retire when they're in a situation like that. They have to work. They have to do the job of being a rapper or artist forever. They got to tour forever. And this is the image that they push. Be a rapper, you'll be famous. Be a rapper, you'll be a celebrity. Be a rapper, you'll be elite. You'll be better than everybody else. It's an image, it's an illusion. They push it as they're winners, but they're really losing. This is how they program you through the music. It's an image, it's an illusion. If you want to be a rapper, you want to make music, make music. You don't have to sign to a record deal to make music. You can make music all on YouTube, create your own beats, make your own music, collect checks from YouTube the 21st of every month, and you'll be good. But if you go into the music industry, you sign a record label, then you in debt, you ain't making the money back, then you got to stay signed to that record label. You got family to take care of, you got kids to take care of, you got 3 houses, you got 27 gold chains, you got diamond chains, you got earrings, you got gold grills, you buy your family house, you buy your family car, you got 17 kids. Who's going to pay off all the child support if you're in debt to the record label? You got to keep rapping forever. You gotta keep going on tour forever. You can't retire. You can't retire and spend time with your family. You gotta keep going on tour. You in debt to the record label because you fell into the illusion of fame and being a celebrity. It's even worse. A lot of people are signing to a 360 deal. So they're signed to one person, they're signed to another person, they're signed to another person. You have one big artist is signed to Atlantic or signed to Sony or something like that. And then that artist creates his own record label. And then another artist signs to his record label. And then that artist creates his own record label. And then another young artist coming up, they sign him. So that one that's at the bottom of the 360 deal, they're not making no money. But it's an illusion. Oh, it's my favorite rapper. I've been listening to him since I was young. I want to sign to his record label. Okay, you sign to him, you'll never see a dollar because your favorite artist is signed to a record label. They ain't seeing dollars, so how you gonna see dollars? It's programming. That's why you gotta have knowledge. Knowledge is light. Then you'll be able to see.